In these days of increasing deforestation globally and man encroaching into animal habitats, it is quite natural to have increasing number of incidents where humans come face to face with an angry wild animal. Invariably, if such an unfortunate event were to happen, the odds are stacked in favor of the wild animal, given their natural aggression, hunting instincts, and their well-endowed physical features, which give them an advantage over humans. Today, let's look at some rare cases where the indomitable human spirit came to the fore, and the attacked humans were successful in surviving a wild animal attack, and in some extremely rare cases, even kill the wild animal. In something eerily similar to some of the anaconda movies, a Kenyan farmer managed to survive a stranglehold of a 13-foot python by biting it on its tail. In April 2009, Ben Nyambe, a manager of a farm in Kenya, was at work one day when he accidentally stepped on a 13-foot python. Not one to take this lying down, the python proceeded to wrap all around him and drag him up a tree. Pythons are known to slowly suffocate their prey, to ready them for digestion. Unable to free himself and not wanting to be crushed to death by the powerful snake, Nyambe calmly waited nearly 3 hours until the snake's tail was close enough to his face and he bit the reptile's tail. The snake loosened its grip, and Nyambe had the presence of mind to reach into his pocket for his cell phone. He called for help and the police arrived shortly afterwards. After Nyambe was freed, the python was put into a bag, but it managed to escape. Canadian William Gibb from Red Deer, Alberta, had stopped at the Tim Hortons outlet on his long 372-mile drive to the Grand Prairie on the evening of 26 of December 2016, and let his pet husky dog for a walk. While it was a wooded area, an encounter with a wild animal was the last thing he expected. Shortly afterwards, he heard his pet husky whimpering in pain, and when he came out of the outlet, he was shocked to find the dog pinned down by a cougar or mountain lion. William gathered all his courage and confronted the wild animal. He kept punching the cougar and yelling at it to get off his dear pet. After a bit of a struggle, he succeeded in getting the poor dog from the cougar's clutches, which ran back into the woods. The dog suffered serious injuries but survived. Eric Nurhus, an Australian diver, considers himself to be the luckiest man living. Well, anybody who had almost half his body, including his head, inside the mouth of a great white shark for more than 2 minutes, and still able to recount the story, is justified in feeling so. In 2007, off the coast of Cape Howe, Australia, Eric was diving for abalone with his friends and son when a great white shark attacked and partially swallowed him, head first. Despite his dire situation, Eric kept his mind and began stabbing the 10-foot shark in the eye with his abalone knife. After a few jabs straight to the eyeball, the shark let him go. He swam to the surface where his friends and son hauled him into a boat. He suffered serious bite marks, but was protected by his diver's weight belt. The shark's bite managed to crush his face mask, break his nose, and left deep cuts on both sides of his torso and left arm. Despite that, he made a full recovery. One could consider themselves unfortunate to run into a wild animal in the woods. Then what you would call Richard Moyer and his wife, who had the great misfortune of a large wild bear visiting them at their home, almost as if he had a dinner invite. In October of 2011, Richard let his dog out in Oliver Township, Pennsylvania. Soon he heard the dog howling, so he opened the door to let the dog back in. But he hadn't bargained for a large bear following him inside. The bear instantly went for Richard in his living room. The screaming and howling woke up Angela, Richard's wife, who began shouting at the bear to distract it. The bear turned on her and started biting her. Richard came to his wife's rescue and dived at the bear. No sooner had the bear turned his attention back on Richard he had a change of heart, and for no apparent reason, he let Richard go and sauntered back into the woods. Both of them suffered serious injuries, but were back on their feet in a day. When 51-year-old Sam Songwani left home for work on his cycle in Pretoria in August 2016, running into an angry tiger was the last thing on his mind. It was 6 in the morning when he was shocked to see a tiger lying under a tree. Trouble was that the tiger spotted him too, and in a blink of an eye, it was up to him. Songwani picked up a few stones and hurled it at the tiger, but this attempt to scare it off failed abysmally. When that didn't work, Sam beat the tiger with his bike for a staggering 30 minutes. A woman driving by happened to witness the attack and called a local wildlife sanctuary for help. Rescuers from the sanctuary called the Farm Inn, arrived, and tranquilized the tiger. In fact, the tiger had actually escaped from the sanctuary, and after it was sedated, it was taken back to the Farm Inn. Thankfully, Sam didn't suffer any major injuries, although his bike was totally ruined. Well, they say that a good deed begets another. That's generally true, but not always. Mr. Po Yu, a 28-year-old vet at Taiwan Zoo, will agree with the exception to that sentiment. In April 2007, Po Yu's services were required as the zoo's crocodile had suddenly lost its appetite. As he reached into the cage through the iron railings to treat the ailing crocodile, it appears that the 18-foot-long reptile suddenly rediscovered its appetite and lunged and attacked him. The sheer power of the croc's attack and its sharp teeth resulted in his left arm getting severed at the elbow. Stunned colleagues hurried Po Yu away from the crocodile and applied a tourniquet to the shocked vet as the croc wandered off with the limb in its jaws. As a zoo worker fired 2 bullets, the scared reptile dropped its anticipated snack and went away. A courageous co-worker jumped into the pen and retrieved the arm. After a 7-hour reattachment surgery, doctors successfully attached Po Yu's arm back. What should have been a relaxing afternoon gardening for a woman ended as a bloody fight against one of the world's fiercest predators. In August 2014, Kamla Devi was gardening outside her home, located in the Uttarakhand region of India, when a leopard jumped out of the bushes and pounced on her. Devi, thankfully, was equipped with her farming tools. With a sickle and a spade in hand, she took the fight back to the leopard by slashing it, bludgeoning it, and puncturing it with the tools for about half an hour. Finally, the injured leopard gave in. Although she was bloodied, she managed to walk a short distance to get help. She suffered deep cuts on her body and 3 fractures and lost a lot of blood before reaching the hospital. The leopard was found dead near Miss Devi's village after suffering fatal injuries from her sickle and spade. So those are some incredible, never say die survival stories where the sheer human will to survive has successfully battled some of the deadliest wild animals and came up trumps. I hope you found the video interesting and would request you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. You can see the bell icon below. Please click on it to receive notifications of my future videos. I will see you soon, and thanks for watching.